Is it a problem if your teeth are really crowded? Well, we had a patient come in to talk about it. Before we begin though, please comment below if you've never had braces because your teeth are super straight, or if you did have braces because your teeth were super crowded. We had a patient come in to visit us because of significant crowding. Now, contemporary guidelines, all right? There's no hard and fast rules about when you should and should not extract teeth, generally speaking. There might be some very specific cases, but anyways, crowding, okay, specifically for crowding, which is probably one of the most common reasons why you would take out a tooth, a healthy tooth. Sometimes it's a not healthy tooth, and you consider taking those teeth out. But anyways, the contemporary guidelines, something like this. If there are 1 to 4 millimeters of crowding, that is considered mild and potentially can resolve as certain baby teeth fall out over time, right? So that's as you're growing. If you have 5 to 9 millimeters of crowding, that is considered moderate. And sometimes you might extract or sometimes you might not extract. It could maybe go either way, depending on other factors too. And then finally, if you have 10 millimeters or more of crowding in a single arch, that means like the top teeth or the bottom teeth. If you have 10 millimeters up here or 10 millimeters down here, 10 or more, then extractions for the purpose of resolving the crowding becomes a little bit more obvious. And again, even then, you just no hard and fast rules, really. You gotta consider everything as part of the treatment plan. Here is an example of a patient that recently came to see us with crowding. Let's see if you can tell how crowded we are. Okay, so this is the way the patient presented. Let's count all of our teeth. We'll go to the top arch first. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Generally speaking, you have 7 adult teeth that come in while you're growing on both sides, on top and bottom. Let's count back on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've only got 6 teeth, so we're missing a tooth. It's the canine. Look at this side, this canine. You can tell there's absolutely no space for that tooth to come in right here. That's where it's supposed to come in. And then on top over here, can't quite see it, but the tooth is right there. See up in this tissue? It hasn't come out like this tissue has, but on this side, we have just like a hair of space. And here we have absolutely no space for that tooth to come in. We've got a twisted tooth here, so maybe there could be some space like that one right there. But this is a severely crowded arch. Okay, each tooth here is probably around 7 millimeters again. So if you got 7 millimeters here, 7 millimeters here, that's 14 millimeters of tooth mass that we've got to fit into this straight line with 1 millimeter of extra space. So maybe 13 millimeters, or again, give or take, to try and fit into this arch. That is severely crowded. Here's our bottom. Let's count our teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we have all of our teeth and they made it in, but you can tell, especially as you get towards the front, a little bit in the back, like right here, this premolar severely displaced this way versus this way. We have all of our teeth, but all of our teeth, we've got really twisted teeth to try and compensate to get all the teeth in. We are quite crowded here too. Or maybe not, or arguably maybe not as much as the top, but we're probably in that moderate to more severe category, closer to that. That is a lot of tooth mass to try and get to fit in. The amount of crowding on the top is actually almost such that it's like pretending like she already had 2 teeth taken out, all right? It's almost like because they're so crowded, her arch is almost like she's had 2 teeth extracted already. There are those out there who claim that tooth extraction can lead to obstructive sleep apnea. Well, in this case, if you're looking at a 2-dimensional image, this is the idea, what dentists might report as the airway. You've got the nose here, and this whole section is the airway, kind of coming back down like that. All right, notice that even with the extractions of those upper teeth, because they weren't in place, look at how large this airway looks. Actually, the point of showing you this is that if you ever have a dentist or an orthodontist who tries to diagnose obstructive sleep apnea from a 2-dimensional image of your airway here, maybe you should go find somebody else. Get a second opinion. Because here you have a case in point. Just because you have teeth taken out, it doesn't mean that you will have a small airway. But that's basically how crowded we are. It's almost like we took out 2 teeth already, even though they're still there. Second thing to note is people often talk about that are concerned about airway, which everybody should be, that the tongue doesn't have enough space if you take out teeth. Well, in this case, actually, if you were to extract teeth, you might see it increase in the amount of space because because teeth would actually be straight. The crowding has forced the teeth kind of to collapse on each other into that tongue space. And as you extract those teeth can straighten out and thus increase your space for the tongue. Hooray for tongue space. So we talked about two major options with this patient. You can consider extractions to help resolve dental crowding and fix the bite, or to improve the bite, or you can do non-extraction. Let's consider the non-extraction. In order to get all those teeth to fit in straight, all right, arguably, or what happens when you have so much crowding is that the front teeth on top and bottom, they push forward. All right, so they kind of start sticking out more, right? Because you're making more room for all of the teeth to fit in. So as you pursue a non-extraction route, these teeth in the front are probably going to stick out, flare more. If you have really tight lip tissue through all these areas and your teeth stick out more, that can cause more strain on your muscles and your lips, maybe affecting the profile in an adverse way. In addition, whenever you do non-extraction, especially in severely crowded cases, you can put more adverse pressure on the gums and the bone that hold the teeth in place. Again, the most ideal position, most healthy position for teeth is to be well within the bone and not have roots that are sticking out of the bone. If you pursue a non-extraction option, particularly on top, you're gonna have to put some brackets on, open up some space here, open up some space here, and then you're gonna have to maybe expose this tooth and then try to pull that down into place. On the bottom, you're gonna have to do a lot of pulling out. This comes forward to try and get everything to fit in. All right, so that's the non-extraction option. A viable option. Some might argue not viable, but the reality is you could, do it. The question is, should you do it? Well, that's for you and your provider to decide. But the other option that you could consider in this case is an extraction option. One option is you can consider when you're talking about extraction, and in this case, you'd be taking out teeth in 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4, to maintain the bite and resolve the crowding. Well, one of the simple options could be you take out this tooth here and this tooth here. And then if you don't have those teeth, you basically are already straight in that arch. On the bottom, you'd take out the premolar here, or you could take out the premolar here and premolar here, and then this tooth fits over here, this tooth fits over here, this tooth fits in, this tooth fits in. It can work out. It'd be very nice. The other option on top, instead of taking out the canines, you can take out the premolars back here, and then you still do the expose and bond like we talked about in the non-extraction, and you pull that tooth down and that tooth down, and if you want to keep your canines. But I've seen both, and both are valid, viable extraction options. In theory, doing the extractions may allow for these teeth to stay in healthier positions in the bone and gum tissue. Maintain the bite, maintain the profile, voila. So again, which one do you do? Well, that's for you and your provider to decide. Is there anything to prevent this much crowding? Hard to say. My recommendation is you talk with your provider. Well, there you have it. Dental crowding, it's a real thing. Challenging to resolve. It may involve dental extractions. I don't think you'd extract anything else to resolve dental crowding. So, hope you like this video. If you are really crowded and want to know your options between extractions versus non-extractions, come find us. We're in McKinney and Anna, Texas. Or if your friends are really crowded, tell them to watch our videos and maybe even come see us so that I can open your eyes to the wonderful world of straight teeth, sometimes taking out teeth to help you line them all up, get that beautiful bite. That's all I've got. Just a little PFO so you know where you're going. Packard out.